Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Gospel of John series. Let's rewind for a moment back to the dusty road of Cana. A royal official, a man used to give orders, is now powerless. His son, his precious boy, is burning with fever, his small life flickering like a candle in the wind. This father's word is collapsing. Desperation is a taste in his mouth, metallic and cold. He has heard whispers about the prophet from Nazareth, so he runs. He doesn't walk, he runs, his heart pounding with a frantic, terrified rhythm against his ribs. He finds Jesus, and his plea is not from a place of power, but of raw, unraveling need. Sir, come down before my little boy dies. He is asking for a sign, a visible wonder, something he can point to and say, "See, now I can believe." But Jesus looked past the panic into the hollowed out places of this father's soul. His response is not a gentle comfort, but a challenge that echoes over the whole crowd. Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will never believe. And in that breathless moment, the noble man stands on a precipice. His mind screams for Jesus to just move, to come now, but something else does. A fragile, desperate trust. It's not a kind of faith that is built on seeing miracles. It is the kind that is born in the aching silence before the miracle comes. He chooses to believe the word itself. Go, your son will live. He turns for home, and with every step, he is fighting a war between hope and dread. The road stretched before him, an agony of distance, and then his servants meet him, not with sorrow, but with joy. Their faces are radiant. Your son lives. His breath catches. When? Tell me when he turned the corner. Yesterday at 1 in the afternoon, they say. The fever left him. And in that divine coincidence, the holy alignment of time, the Father's fragile trust erupts into glorious, unshakable certainty. The hour they named was the very moment Jesus spoke the word, "Go, your son will live." He didn't need to see the healing to believe. He believed the word, and then he saw the healing. His faith, rested in the fire of waiting, became a faith that would now sustain his entire household. It was no longer a faith built on the spectacular, but on the authority of single spoken promise. From the believing faith of Galilee, we now turn to Jerusalem, to the pool of Bethesda, the house of mercy. Here, a multitude of sick and broken wait by the waters, longing for healing, always just out of reach. Among them lies a man paralyzed for 38 years. His body frail, his hope as weathered as his limbs. Into this place of longing and legend, Jesus steps. He sees the unseen, he speaks, and everything changes. Let's turn to John chapter 5, verse 1 to 9, and enter this powerful scene together. Verse 1 to 4. After this, there was a feast of Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there's in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is called in Hebrew Bethesda, having 5 porches. In there lay a great multitude of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at certain time into the pool and stirred up the water. Then whoever stepped in first after stirring of the water was made well of whatever the disease he had. The scene opens not in a quiet Galilee village, but in the bustling heart of Jerusalem, swollen with pilgrims for a feast. The very air crackles with devotion, a symphony of chanting psalms, the lowing of sacrifices, and the murmur of thousands prayers. John, in his mystery, withholds the name of the feast, making it every feast, and there, moving faithfully through the sacred chaos, is Jesus. He is not a rebel against tradition, but its fulfillment, meeting humans' deepest need at the very source of its longing. His steps, deliberate and quiet, lead him past the temple's grandeur to a place of quiet desperation, the pool of Bethesda, by the sheep gate. Bethesda, the name itself, is a whisper prayer, meaning house of mercy. For ages, this place was but a ghost in the text, a detail doubted by scholars, until the earth itself yielded its secret. Archaeologists' spades struck stone, revealing 5 graceful colonnades, just as John had said, rising from the dust like the skeletal ribs of a forgotten beast. This was no mere pond. It was a reservoir fed by capricious underground springs. Without warning, its water will shudder and swirl, a sudden mysterious sign in its depths. And many believe that in that divine stirring was a chance, a fleeting moment for healing. Now, let our eyes adjust to the shadows beneath those 5 porches. Here lies a multitude of broken, the blind, the lame, on the mats that are their entire world, the paralyzed, their spirits screaming from presence of unresponsive flesh. This is not an open-air hospital. It is a shoreline of shattered hope. The air hangs thick with the scent of sweat and despair. This is a portrait of humanity itself, frail, fractured, and fixated on a cure it can never truly grasp, waiting for a ripple in the water that always seems to come for someone else. The verse about the angel stirring the waters, it is a ghost in the manuscript. The oldest and the most trusted Greek text holds no record of it. It appears centuries later, ascribes marginal notes, perhaps trying to explain the crowd's desperate Virgil that eventually slipped into the sacred story itself, finding a home in the King James majestic prose. This is why modern translations often bracket it or banish it to a footnote. Yet its presence, whether from John's hand or a later scribe's, speaks a profound truth. The people believed. They believe in the power of stirred water and divine chance. And it is into this very arena of superstition and fragile hope that Jesus deliberately walks. His miracle is not a validation of the pool's legend, but its glorious overthrow. Healing does not come from troubled waters, from lucky timing, or from human ritual. True healing comes with a word from the author of life himself. It comes by the sovereign authority of the Son of God, who needs no angel to stir the water, for he is the stirrer of the cosmos. This is the human condition. We all lie by our own pools of Bethesda, our houses of mercy, placing our hope in things that cannot save. Wealth, ambition, status, superstition. We wait for the water to move, forever watching the surface. When the true source of mercy has already walked into our helplessness, he does not wait for us to struggle to him. He comes to us, and he speaks a word that changes everything. Verse 5 to 9. Now a certain man was there who had infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I'm coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath. And there, in the shadows of the 5 colonnades, lies one man. His word had been small for 38 years, the size of a mat, the horizon of his own pain. 38 years, a lifetime of weakness. His body is a prison. His identity is his infirmity. He has no strength to get himself to the water, no friend to carry him, and the hope that once flickered in his heart has long since cooled to ash. He is not just a man who is sick, he is sickness himself embodied. This number is no accident. It echoes the 38 years Israel wandered in the wilderness of doubt and disobedience. A generation circling in futility, unable to save itself, unable to enter the rest God has promised. The law, like this pool, could expose the need for holiness, but it could never provide the strength to attain it. It revealed the chasm, but could not build the bridge. But then a shadow falls across this mat. That is not from a passing cloud. A man has stopped. Others see a fixture of the landscape, a part of the broken scenery, but Jesus sees him. Not a diagnosis, but a person. His gaze is not one of pity, but of piecing compassion. He does not just pass by. He bends the universe towards this one forgotten soul. And he asks a question that hangs in the thick air. Shimmering possibility. Do you want to be made well? It seems a question with an obvious answer, but Jesus asks it to unravel a lifetime of resignation. After 38 years, sickness is not just a condition, it is an identity. Healing would mean that terrifying responsibility of strength, the end of excuses, the death of the man he has always been. It is not a question of doubt, but a divine invitation, a hand extended to the heart, long atrophied. The man's answer is a sign woven from despair. He does not say yes. He explains his cannot. His hope is still chained to the ritual, to the superstition of the stirred water, to the effort of another. I have no man, he whispers, the perfect portrait of humanity under the law. Utterly helpless, unable to save itself. But Jesus will not use the pool. He did not come to validate our broken systems of salvation. He came to replace them. And then the word that spoke light into chaos now speaks strength into withered limbs. A threefold command. Each word a thunderclap of grace. Rise, a call to resurrection, to leave the dust of the earth and stand tall as a new creation. Take up your bed, a command to break with past. The very thing that carries him, the symbol of his weakness, he must now carry as a trophy of grace. Walk, a commission into freedom, to move forward, not in his own strength, but in the new power flowing through his veins. Immediately, not gradually, not after ritual, the miracle happens. The divine command contains the power to fulfill it. The man believes, he obeys, and in that obedient movement, the healing is proven real. He is not healed because he struggled to the water. He is healed because the living water came to him. This is the gospel in a single moment. Salvation comes not by our effort or ritual, but by grace through faith in Christ alone. And yet, This glorious freedom dawned on the Sabbath. The stage is now set, not for celebration, but for conflict. For the light has just exposed fragile cages of man-made rules, and the keepers of these cages will not give up their darkness without a fight. As we leave this scene at the pool of Bethesda, we are reminded that this is more than history. It is a picture of what Jesus still does today. In a single word, rise. And the man who has known nothing but weakness for 38 long years stands to his feet, mat in his hand, walking into a new life. What no stirring word could do, the living word has accomplished. Bethesda's house of mercy has found its true fulfillment, not in myth, not in ritual, but in the mercy of Christ himself. What have we learned today? That Jesus sees the unseen, speaks life into the hopeless, and calls us to rise into the freedom only he can give. Yet, mercy is never without a mystery. As the man carries his mat through Jerusalem's street, the stage is set for confrontation. For while one broken life is restored, others cannot see beyond their rules and rituals. And so, healing will give way to hostility, and grace will stir up opposition. But for now, a man walks and he is free. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.